Have you struggled to find a gimbal that could take the weight of your big, heavy iPhone 13 Pro Max? What about if you start adding lenses and filters to your setup? I mean, that thing could just start getting really heavy. I know I've been frustrated with a lot of gimbals on the market. Yeah, they can be small, they can be compact, they can just go into your pocket. But most of the gimbals in the market just can't take the payload. What if I was to say that there was a gimbal that could take the weight? A beast! I think I've found the gimbal that is the king of the jungle. Let's do this! What is going on? It's Anil, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at the Zhiyun Smooth 5 gimbal. Is it good enough for my iPhone 13 Pro Max? Because this is heavy. I have to say, I was excited to try this out. I've heard so many good things. Now today, this is going to be kind of a review, but mostly I'm going to be showing you how it performs with my heavy iPhone 13 Pro Max. So we'll cover what's in the box. We'll also look at the build, design, the quality, the performance you're going to get out of it. We're also going to look at how you can set it up. And this week, Filmic Pro have announced support for the Smooth 5 gimbal. We're going to touch on that at the end. And make sure you stick around to the end because I filmed a nice little cinematic sequence with this gimbal and you got to check it out. You got to stick around and check that out. So let's talk about what's in the box. But don't worry, I didn't damage the gimbal, right? There's nothing in this box. So Zhiyun were very nice enough to send this gimbal to me to review for you guys. You get the gimbal, you get a tripod, and you get a charging cable. They do a combo kit which comes with a case and a light. I didn't send that to me, so I won't be reviewing that today. So let's talk about build quality and design, because when you pick this up, it's gonna feel like you are holding a pro piece of equipment. Free access stabilizer, and it weighs 615 grams, so it's not the lightest gimbal on the market, but I like it. I like things that has a little bit of weight. It feels so premium. I feel like a filmmaker. I mean, the quality is great. I mean, the feel of that grip is just amazing. And when you're walking around filming with this thing, it's a head turner. So the gimbal comes with a 1/4 inch screw on the side, so you can add in all sorts of accessories, microphones, whatever you want to do. Setting up and balancing this gimbal is really, really easy. All you need to do is mount your phone into the gimbal like this. Then you unlock the first and second motor. Move your handset around and you can see this little lever at the top of the arm. Open that lever and you can start sliding your phone across until it's perfectly balanced. Tighten up that lever and then unlock the final motor on the back of the handle, power up, connect it to the ZY Cami app, and you are ready to go. So let's have a quick look at the button configuration, some of the actions you can complete. So if we have a look here, right at the back, you've got that lock button for the motor. You've also got a USB-C port at the bottom so you can charge the gimbal. And then finally, you got a trigger at the back. Double pressing that trigger will recenter the phone. Triple pressing that trigger will turn the phone completely around so you can record yourself using the rear camera. On the left side, you've got the zoom wheel, and this can be used with the ZY Cami app and also Filmic Pro, which we'll touch on a bit later. There's actually a button in the middle that you can press to switch between zoom or manual focus. On the right side, you've got the power button, and you've also got a function button which you can program to do anything you want. Now moving on to the front panel, you've got that joystick. Now this joystick is one of the best joysticks I've used on a gimbal. It's pressure sensitive, so you've got some really great control over the movement. Also, there's a menu button which is linked to the ZY Cami app, and in the middle there's an on-off switch for the light, which they didn't send me, so I can't test the light. The dial round the outside controls the brightness of the light if you have the combo pack, like I said, that comes with that little light. The dial can also be used to adjust things like ISO, FPS, and also access the playback menu in the ZY Cami app. There's also a shutter button so you can start and stop recording. Finally, there's a mode button which allows you to easily switch between all the gimbal modes with a touch of the button. I love this feature on gimbals because I don't want to be messing around inside of the app. I just want to do it one touch on the gimbal. And this moves nicely into the next section where we talk about the gimbal modes. And on this gimbal, there are 5 different modes. You've got pan and follow, you got all lock mode, you got follow, POV, and then finally you got vortex mode. And the other kind of mode or feature is they got something called Phone Go, which is like sports mode. And all you need to do is just hold that trigger down, everything becomes a little bit more responsive. So if you're chasing someone down the street or you're filming something with fast movement, you want to go into Phone Go mode. So let's move on to performance and usability. Now this gimbal has a 12-hour working time with a 2-hour charge time, and it takes a payload of up to 300 grams. So it should comfortably hold a heavy phone like the iPhone 13 Pro Max. If you're serious about filmmaking, you're also using ND filters, you're also using anamorphic lenses. So I tested it with my Sandmark ND filter, which was a total weight of 328 grams. And I also used my Reflex anamorphic lens, which was a total weight of 324 grams. That's part of my testing. You know I'm gonna have to shoot a nice little cinematic sequence. So let's go and check that out. Pretty good. It is pretty good. And even though both of those setups was over the 300 gram payload weight, I had no issues whatsoever. It handled it like a king. This gimbal has amazing performance, but also an amazing motor range. It can tilt to 309 degrees, roll to 300 degrees, and pan to 360 degrees. This is especially noticeable when you are doing challenging moves like jib shots or crane shots. That's where you're gonna really notice the power of the Smooth 5. Now I guess a little bit of a downside to other gimbals, you can't automatically switch between landscape and portrait. You have to reattach your phone, change the configuration of the gimbal. It's not a big deal for me because normally when I'm filming in one orientation. But you can still film portrait if you turn the gimbal 190 degrees. Might not be too comfortable for too long, but you can do it. The other little caveat that you should be aware of is when you've mounted and balanced that phone into the cradle, you can't access the lightning port at the bottom. Now, it's not a massive issue because you can loosen up your phone, pull it away slightly, plug in whatever device, whether it's your charging cable or if you use an external mic, and then you can rebalance the gimbal. So there is a workaround towards it, but it's something to be aware of. And I wouldn't recommend doing this if you're going to be using heavy lenses. So if you're using an ND filter or a lens and you want a microphone, you might be asking too much. You might need to go for a more hybrid gimbal. So let's talk about Filmic Pro, because only a few days ago, Filmic Pro have released an update supporting the Smooth 5. So if you've got Filmic Pro, setting up is easily. All you need to do is tap on the menu item, go down to hardware, and then you will see the option for Smooth 4/5. Tap on that little toggle, activate it, it will pop up, hit the connect button, and you're ready to go. And one of the biggest and most exciting features now that you can do in Filmic Pro is you can use that wheel on the left side to rack focus. And this update only came out a few days ago, so I've not gone through all of the settings or the different modes and button configuration, but it supports the Smooth 5. Filmic Pro supports the Smooth 5. So final thoughts. Who do I think this gimbal is aimed for? If you have been filmmaking with your smartphone for a while, you're stepping up your game. Maybe you're using those lenses, those filters, you're using a pro phone like the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This is the gimbal for you. And you would expect a gimbal like this to be really expensive. $169 currently on Amazon. Wow, what a bargain. It is, in my opinion, so far out of all the gimbals I've tested and used, it is the king of the gimbals. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. A wimbowe, 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 a wimbowe.